Oh, wow. Perfect timing there, Tamika. Good to see you. Must have just got come over from Malt's show. I appreciate it. I just literally click the button start. You've got really ironic timing. That's good though. Hopefully you're having a good week. It's Tasty Tuesday finally. I've been waiting since last Tuesday, and I'm eager to get in some new bottles from. These two are going to be from Eric this time, actually. Um, really good choices, I have a feeling. Hey there, Silverlock and Daniel as well. Hope to see you guys enjoying with us a couple. First one, well, I'm not sure what order. We'll talk about that in a second. Let me make sure I get Eric his invite before I forget. Send away. So he'll be joining us here in a second. We'll be looking at the Arran, the new Arran, the Bothy, which is a quarter cask deal, 56.2% ABV. I have a feeling we'll probably do that second. That's my guess, because the first one is the Ledaig, also from Tobermory. Their peated lineup. This is called the Sinclair series. Rioja, I think is how you say it. Cask finish, 46.3%. And I've been dabbling on the side with a new acquisition, the Kilkerran at 16, and Malt and I will be doing a proper review of that later. I've just been kind of warming up a little bit with that and letting it oxidize. What are you guys sipping? Trooper loves the Bothy quarter cask. Have you had earlier releases? I've noticed that when I was doing a little research, that these guys have do batches. This is I'm not sure what number on the batches this might be, but this is definitely from the new lineup. This is like the new style bottles. So it'll be interesting to see more. Maybe some of these older ones too. If I like this one, I haven't tried it before, but I'm eager to give it a good whirl. I got a Ledaig 10 ready and some other non-Isla peated. Yeah, hopefully you brought your non-Isla peated whiskeys. That's a tough tongue twister to say if you think about it. A Hazelburn 13 Oloroso cast strength. Oh, I'm not worthy. I had a 14-year-old version of that about 3 or 4 years ago, and that's hands down one of the best whiskeys I've had in a long time. It's one of the best non-Isla peated whiskeys. I can't say it tonight. And I've only had a sip of 1 dram. That's nothing. It's too early for that nonsense, right? I see you've got a new arrangements behind you. Yeah, I've been adding to the old stockpile here, trying to build the wall. You can see over this side, it's been there for a bit. It's kind of growing down behind me. I've got a couple more shelves down. You can't see those, but this I've been trying to add some decent ones. I got to replace my Tomaten Decades. This is the first Tomaten Decades with like I want to get like a 30-year or at least 25 Tomaten. That's what my next Tomaten purchase might be. Got to save up for that. And but I do get the Ledaig 18 back there, one of my favorites. The Glenmore G18, the Cragganmore 20, the Edgerdar 21. The Glenmore 18, I want to get the 25 to replace that. A Tamdu 15, a Spey 18, a Arran 21, a Knock 24, a Glenlivet 21, a Alcantouche 21, a Jura 21, a Glengoyne 21, a Balvenie 21, a Glenfiddich 21, Glencaddam 21, Tobermory 21. We'll be looking at that in the near future. That'll be a fun one to review. The Albemarle 21 and the Speyburn 25. That's like the quick roundup of that mess. And speaking of messes,
Oh, I was just listening to you talk about all your old whiskeys. Please continue. I don't want to interrupt.
But you're the good mess this year. No, he's not a mess. He's a hell of a lot more put together than I am. Good to see you, man.
On a good night. How are you, man? Love the flaming lip shirt.
Oh, thanks, man. And the funny thing is, I've got that shirt, but a complete inverse of the colors of that. Isn't that weird? I've got like gray It's got like a gray and
hot shirt.
Yeah, it's like it's funny. It's like an inverse of the colors and stuff. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know they made different versions of it.
Apparently, man. How are you, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just going through all the new acquisitions. Yeah, that's good. Of some we've done already, but some we're going to be doing in the future. I decided to try to build the wall slowly but surely behind me and make room for some more growth.
Yeah,
but I'm excited, man.
We always need more room. That's a fact, man. How are you? What do you got new? Is there anything new in the Telex den since the last time we talked?
Ooh, pretty good, but not. I'm trying to let me bring up my own inventory thing here, but nothing recently. I've gotten the setup, but though for this next, actually this week I might go ahead and pick it up. I've got 4 coming in the Speyburn 10, which is going to go with our Speyburn 25. We'll be doing a show for Speyburn. We've got the Benriach Smoky 10. I hope he gets the 12.
The Benriach?
Yeah, the Benriach Smoky 10. He might be able to get the 12, but it's iffy. He definitely has the 10 either way. And we'll be putting that with, you've got a Benriach that we'll be putting that together with later, right? Which one was that? Do you remember?
No.
I think it might have. I'll have to look. Let me see if I got it. Yeah, I got it right here. The Benriach 17 Septem Disum. That's going to be a hell of a show, I have to say.
Dude, the 17 is great. I have that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
We'll be doing a review of that around July the 13th. We think this is all subject to change because sometimes we get a hair up our ass and we decide.
Don't mark your calendars, y'all. This is subject to change.
Yeah, it's definitely. You never know, but I'm trying to give you a ballpark.
No, you never know.
But we also have the 2 big ones to go along with the 2 little ones. Is a Glenallachie 25, which is the big boy, and the Ballblair 83 37-year-old, which is going to be insane. Those are the 2 big ones for this month.
We should just cancel all our shows until we get to that. I mean, come on.
It's going to be fun, man. I've tasted it once, and have you ever got to taste one of those 83s before?
No.
Oh, dude, you are going to shit your pants in a good way. It's going to be a mind blower.
I've never done it in a bad way, so. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, Lordy. But I'm not sure when we'll do that one, but we're definitely going to be putting up that against another Ballblair that we pick up along the way. I think you got an 05 single cask already, don't you?
Cask, yep. We'll do that.
That's going to be a hell of a show. But I did pop open a couple. I've been sipping tonight on that Kilkerran 16 that you picked up for me.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think I'm going to hold judgment till we get to the show at a later time. Okay. Same thing with that Ardbeg. I actually opened up that Ardbeg, believe it or not, and took a few different sniffs and sips. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to take a look at these and see what you think.
Yeah, I luckily this weekend I met up with a friend of my show and friend of your show probably as well, Tony from King of Prussia, just up the road from me in Philly, who provided me a generous sample of that Ardbeg. I have not tried it yet. But it was unexpected, and it was in the box that he gave me. So I'm going to try it probably this week as well.
Okay, well, if you want, it's up to you. We could throw it in along the way or unless you want to do
we'll figure it out. Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely figure it out. But that just means that you can keep your bottle to yourself.
Oh man, it
sounds like you got some good new ones in. I got 2 things this weekend. Well, 3 that might be of interest to you. So the first one is this Tamdu Cask Strength Batch 5 is awesome. This is my first ever Tamdu Cask Strength.
Oh.
And I'm very impressed. The other thing I got, which I don't know if you ever had this. So this is, yes, I bought a Bowmore. This is nice. A Bowmore 18, but it is from the Vintner's Trilogy. It's the first release. It's 52.5%, and it's basically a 3-year finish in Manzanilla.
Nice, 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 man. I bet that is good.
I it sounds like it's got to be amazing. I like, I'm this is the first Bowmore I've ever bought that's from Bowmore. I only have one other small one from them that is the it's that boutique whiskey company. But I mean, yeah, look at that. Mm-hmm.
That looks good, especially that ABV. What was the first one that you opened up again before the Bowmore?
The Tamdu.
Yeah, on the Tamdu. Those batches are always really good. They're some of my favorites too. I've been lucky enough to have the first one, second one, and I think the third one, but I missed the fourth. So hopefully I get a chance to snag a taste of that fifth one.
You will definitely get a sample of it. It's fantastic. I'm planning on doing a blind sherry series eventually, and let me tell you, it is that's going to be in it. It's fantastic. I mean, I think it's better than the Abu Na for sure. And it's cheaper. It's just maybe a little bit harder to find. The other thing that,
before you go on, on that second one on the Bowmore, definitely hold on to that because I have my eye on either. I'm not sure when I'll be able to pull the trigger. It might be a couple months, but the 26 or 27-year-old of that same series.
That's what I was going to ask you. So that Vintner series, there's a 26-year-old, which is a French oak barrique.
That's the one I have my eye on.
And the 27 is the port.
And that one. Those two, I saw a really good price. I think it was the port one. It might have been the French one, but either one. I've seen actually these actually hold up well in other reviews. So I'm thinking it might be worth, taking a snag to see what we think. Because if we both agree on it, and it might be a savior for the Bowmore distillery.
Yeah. I mean, these might be the Bowmores that you want to buy. Yeah. I mean, Telex and I are not fans of the 12 or the 15 really, or even the 18 for that matter.
I was disappointed by the 18, to be honest with you. It was
Yeah, the other thing I got Telex, and this is going to be a fun one. So I'm going to do a head-to-head show on this, but I picked up a classic. This was my first ever heavily peated whiskey that I bought, which is the Laphroaig Quarter Cask Classic. But I also happened upon an old bottling.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's classic, man.
So we're going to do a little...
How the hell did you find the old one?
Secondary market. And somebody was willing to sell it, and it's in great shape. I mean, like, it's... I don't know how old it is, but I don't remember when they changed the labels, but I mean... it's got
been a while back, man. It's been a while back.
Got the whole thing on the top. I mean, I know this has been out since like 2006 or 7. So, yeah, I'm gonna do a little comparison video. We'll see if how much this has changed. But I have not had a Laphroaig Quarter Cask in probably 3 years, so I'm really looking forward to it. This was the first Laphroaig I ever bought, and it's exciting to get to try two of them from different ages. Speaking of Laphroaig, before we get into our stuff tonight, you know about the new Laphroaig Core Range bottle that's coming out?
You were the one that told me about that, so you let the viewers know, because I was surprised that they're doing a great one, because I love the first release of the regular travel retail deal.
Yeah. So the first thing is Laphroaig has announced, and it is already available in Germany, they are adding a bottle to their core range, and it is a Laphroaig 10 sherry oak finish. It's 48% ABV. It's basically going to be a 10-year-old at 48% with an Oloroso cask finish.
Wow.
Yeah. Around $70. Let's do it.
That's insane.
And that's going to be in their core range. I'm hoping it drops in the U.S. soon. But I happened to stumble upon what appears to be a leak of I shouldn't say leak, but whatever. The new Carchis release this year is going to be a triple matured PX finish. It is
yes,
refill bourbon. It is quarter casks, and then it is second fill PX 58.9% ABV. That's
the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's going to be the Carchis that comes out this year. Usually drops around summertime, I think, here in the U.S. So like 2 really exciting Lafroigs coming out, including one that's going to be core range. I am stoked about that.
I did take that back. I did see the core range release, but I did not see the new carriages until you mentioned it just the other day. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, man. That PX cask is going to be unreal, I'm sure.
Yeah, Andrew Page just mentioned that Horst Lunig over at whiskey.com has already put up a review of the Lafroig Sherry Oak. Those guys, I mean, well, they are in Germany, so they've probably already, they got their hands on it already. And man, am I excited about that. I mean, it's long overdue for Lafroig. Jack, yeah, totally. It's long overdue for Lafroig to have a sherry oak, a sherry whiskey in their core range. I mean, like, it seems like they've just been missing it for so long, you know?
Yeah, the Laura was like the only way you could get it, and that's like the top of their range in their core range. So it's a bit steep of a price to you have to go all in to get some sherry with your peat. And that's the funny thing. The Lagavulins Distillers Edition is one of my favorite peated whiskeys because of the sherry, as well as the Talisker Distillers Edition has really good. That's sherry too. That's the Amoroso, correct?
Yeah.
And
the Lagavulin is the PX. The Amoroso is Talisker.
That's what I said. The Talisker Still Edition is and the PX on the Lagavulin. Those are two standout whiskeys, and Lafroig didn't seem really to have something to compare it to other than the lore. So I'm really happy that they've got a sherry oak in the new PX carriages.
For real, man. For real. So with that, shall we dive in? So Telex and I got a great show tonight. And, I was thinking about this, and it's like, especially for me when I first got into Scotch, you think all the, like, when you get into the heavily peated whiskeys, you got the choices. There's 9-10 distilleries on Islay. And eventually you may wonder if there's others. And we got 2 non-Islay heavily peated whiskeys tonight. And the first one that we're going to taste in just a couple minutes here is this is Ledaig. So this is a line. This is the heavily peated line out of Tobermory on the Isle of Mull. The one that we got here in particular, this is a Rioja wine cask finish. It is bottled at, as always with Ledaig, 46.3%.
Nice.
Right? They don't play. It is non-age statement. And let me just double check. Usually they say specifically that it's non-chill filtered on their labels.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you about that on this one.
Yeah, usually they say that at least. So funny, it doesn't. Oh, yep, non-chill filtered. So
but they really hide it, don't they?
Yeah, we don't know if the color is natural, but we know it's non-chill filtered.
I was looking at the color, and I think it. People can correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like it's actually natural because when I think of I'm not familiar. I don't drink Rioja wine, but I would think that looks dead up like a perfect red wine, type of white wine, whatever color, rosé at least. But I'm not sure how much of the bourbon cask is coming off on that versus the white. Is it red wine? You said?
Yeah, Rioja is very much like a Spanish red wine. Yep. I mean, if you look at the color of this, I mean, it looks like a rosé.
That looks legit to me. I don't think they would bother trying to add like a weird color like that on this is a very specialized whiskey too, where you can't just pick this up at anywhere, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
So this one was available in the UK. It's the first of this Sinclair series. I assume this will eventually make its way over to the US, but this is a little bit of a special release. Now, I will mention there are 2 in specific. If you're like, what the hell is Ledaig? I've never heard of Ledaig. There are 2 that show up in the U.S. quite prominently, and that is the 10-year-old, which was number 4 in my whiskey of the year last year. Fantastic.
It is.
Peated whiskey, a lot of complexity, really delicious. Gives you something different. And then there's the Ledaig 18, which is also just phenomenal.
And both are really, really consistent on delivery. I've rarely ever had I can't even think of a rough Ledaig 10 or 18. They've always been pretty damn good. And sometimes I've noticed they'll have like a weird release of like a 19-year,
Mm-hmm.
that might have like a specialized cask maturation or finishing. I've seen them do the 19-year version sometimes, but
Yeah, they have there is a 19-year-old. Then you can find it here and there, but
it's not
um,
easy. That's true.
right, for sure.
It's hard enough to find a Ledaig 10 or an 18, really, and unless you got lucky enough to have a really really good Scotch place. Like I've got one here, and evidently Eric's got one. Unless you did you got this from the UK, right?
Yes, this is from the UK, but it's very modestly priced. Whiskey International online had it for 33 pounds, which is like maybe $45 US. So
Wow.
very, very reasonably priced. And it's something a little bit different. Ledaig is a traditionally ex-bourbon whiskey, but this one, you have it is NAS, but it has a Rioja wine cask finish. If you've ever had the Highland Park 16 Twisted, that one has Rioja as well. And
Oh, okay.
kind of a nice, rich red fruit, kind of sherry whiskey, or sherry wine. So, yeah, Telex, since that's the tail of the tape on this Ledaig, I will, let you do your magic first,
All
and
right,
let us know
man.
what you think about the nose, and we'll get into it.
Really appreciate the pour. This has got a very very pronounced nose. You can actually get the nose not even being on the glass. It's that like potent. And
Mm-hmm.
it does have that red wine is definitely all in there. I mean, you can.
Big time.
That's the first note I got was a really good red wine, almost like a rosé type of nose. But I
Definitely.
also get like there is the peat hits you right after. That's wild. It's like it's definitely different. I don't think I've ever had a nose, even if it wasn't just talking about the peat. Like I don't know if I've ever had a Rioja wine matured or finished whiskey before. I like that though. It's got a lot of florals that come along with it.
Yeah.
Peaches too. Like I'm getting some like mid-level yellow type peaches and maybe even some pineapple or something. What is that? It's not tropical, but definitely like a confection sugar. Like definitely on the sweeter end too.
Yeah. To add on, like I really, you get a lot of new make spirit in this. Like it's kind of like clay. It's kind of that thing, but the fruit notes are very like strawberry and sweet for me. Like there's some
Yeah,
nice, just juicy red berries.
yeah. I'm getting like strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
That peat is nice. I'm wondering if that's where you're getting the. Well, it probably is newer whiskey though if they're not putting the age on it.
You get the vanilla in it at all?
Oh yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, it's there, and thankfully it's not hot. It doesn't have a peppery nose or anything like that. I do get like a sense of spice, but it's not like on the heavy end. It's definitely mild, like a spicy cinnamon, but on the sweet,
Mm-hmm.
like the sweet side of cinnamon, not like a stick or anything like that. Like more
Right.
like a,
Like
and
the
not heavy like a big red gum, but kind of like in between, like something really light, like maybe like more like a cinnamon red hot type of.
Yeah, like the candy. Yep. I mean, the nose is a nice balance. Like there's nice smoke, there's nice peat, and then there's you get the sweetness, and yeah.
I also get maybe like on the back end a smidgen of an herb. I'm trying to determine what it is though. It's not as deep as a sage, but it reminds me of like I don't know basil maybe like a. That's wild. It's really ultra subtle. It's not. I have to really dig to get like an earthiness from it. Huh. It's good. It is balanced. It's not like ultra complex or anything, but it's got enough going on to make it interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's going to have a good mouth coat. It's got a really nice hold on the legs. It's really slow to run.
Definitely.
Which is what you want to see. If you ever swirl your glass a couple times and if it fades really, really quick, it's like having one of those moonshiner glasses that don't give the beads.
Right. Yeah, let's give it a taste.
Yeah, let's have a little sip. Slanchava, thanks again for the taste, man.
Tasty Tuesday.
There's that peat in a good way. Wow, the peat. It's funny. You definitely get the peat on the palate versus the nose. It's a chewy, good peat. Ooh, wow, man. This has got like lots of barbecue notes for me going in. It's definitely more. It's funny because I thought it was going to be a big mouthful of like more fruit, but this is more like pulled pork, and to me, it's got like a real good savory thing going
on. I get a lot more. I don't know if I know what you're saying. Like I get some of that kind of dry, like dry herb that you would get on like a dry rub barbecue.
Yeah,
but I feel like the sweet notes of that Rioja kind of dominate it more for me.
On the second taste, I think I'm getting more of where you're coming from.
But I see what you're saying. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of that Balcones Brimstone in a way.
Yeah, it definitely has that type of earth. It's like earthiness meets sweetness right at the right level.
Yeah.
The fruit's there. It's also got this. It does have a spiciness a little bit on the palate. I'm trying to determine.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I go white pepper, but it's got what is that? It might be a little. I mean, like a smidgen touch of white pepper, but enough to give it like a sprightly feel.
Yep.
It's got a little bit of, and not in a bad way because I don't like grapefruit, but it's got a little bit of like a pith, a little bit of a melon.
The sour, like it's not super bitter, but it's sour, like the like a citrus sour to some degree. I don't know
exactly. Yeah, like almost like a little bit of maybe not the pith, is maybe a little bit of pith or a little bit of zest. It's got like a zestiness to the. But it does have a grapefruit kind of a finish. But I'm not like I'm not enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying it, which I guess it's on the more pink grapefruit sweet side of things. Than
grapefruit is a really good point. I honestly didn't quite notice that, but that's what it is. Like it has that kind of that sour tang to it.
To me, thankfully, this is not overly pithy, because if it was like drying me out, then I would be like, oh man, I can't hang with this because of the grapefruit note. But since this makes me salivate, it doesn't dry me out. It's balancing that sour, bitter kind of tinge that's going on. That's really interesting. Huh. And then it dries after, like it gets you like going and gets you salivating and you're enjoying it. But the dryness happens, but it's kind of a distant dryness.
Yeah.
I like that better than just drying out completely, like really fast. And because I do get that from some whiskeys.
There's a bit of a white chocolate, dark chocolate mix combo going on too.
A little salted pretzel going on with it.
Dude, you nailed it. The saltiness.
That's what I was getting.
Yeah, on this. Thank you for calling that out. I was like, I was circling it. I was in orbit around the salt, and I was like, "What is that?"
I was stuck on the white pepper, and I was like, "It's not really white pepper, though. It's something like white pepper, but more intense than just like mere brininess." And there's no maritime notes in this at all, which is good. I don't think it would gel if it had like a seashell thing, but this has got like some really crisp, nice, salty pretzel.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of. I'm gonna do just a drop or two of water.
Yeah, same here. I do really enjoy this one, neat, as far as it might be a little bit more sour or bitter than I would normally enjoy subjectively, but I think it's well put together. I'm enjoying the whiskey, even though the notes really aren't what I personally dig, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I like the challenge of going through all the little nuances with the water and the time and the oxidation and all that too. So it's this proves that even if you get a whiskey, if you feel like you've made an investment, small or large, no matter how big or small it is, sometimes you might not get exactly what you're specifically looking for, but that doesn't mean that the whiskey is not as enjoying as far as the journey that you go through. As long as you're enjoying some of the notes, then I think you're going to find out that you really don't think it's a bad purchase or anything like that too when that happens.
Yep.
Oh my. Oh, okay. That brought out some mid-level, like what I would consider white grapes and pears and like those types of fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Like an orchard with the apples and stuff on the nose.
I don't get a lot of. Well, I get a little bit of apple on the palate, not as much on the nose.
It definitely takes out the sourness with the water, which I do enjoy.
It's much more like melon rind, like honey or cantaloupe or something like that.
That brought out a lot of honeydew and cantaloupe in the palate in this too. You're right. You nailed it, man. That I was thinking, well, the salt's still there. The pretzel note, the savoriness is gone, but that's okay because it's been replaced by this type of. And as soon as you said the fruit, man, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Damn. I think I might actually enjoy this one a little better with the water, believe it or not.
Yeah, me too.
Because it takes away enough of the pithiness, and it doesn't make it drying. It actually, I think it takes away a little bit of the dryness too with just a couple of drops. Because you can't go crazy with it being 46.3, but just a couple of drops, I think, gets this to like a perfect point. I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure I'm not losing my mind.
I like it more with water too because it really does. It takes away some of that tart sour, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah, it reminds me of I don't eat them, but my daughter eats those Sour Patch Kids. It kind of has that kind of
yeah.
It's got that kind of thing going on, and I'm not a huge fan of those either. But with the water, it completely transforms that. I'm just going to do 2 little baby drops on this one because I've already drank most of it. So I'm going to savor this last sip. I can't get over how strong that nose is, man. I mean, you could nose this sucker a mile away if you had the bottle, open, or you had a dram sitting out.
Yep. No, it's a loud whiskey for sure.
I love the fact that it's 46.3. I mean, that right there, it sold me. And then they really had me at the no chill filtering. And the coloring, I mean, even if they put a little coloring in this, I'd be surprised. But if that's the only thing I can really knock
it's weird that they don't mention it on here. I mean, like the subtleness of it makes me think like it looks natural because it's not like an overly dark red or anything like that. But at the same time, they don't mention it, so you don't know.
Yeah, it reminds me of a lot of these guys do think that this whole coloring slash filtering thing is like really new, so it might not be something that they were prepared to market for, as much as they are nowadays. But it's kind of tough to say. Mm. I really like that a lot with water, man. It's weird. Like at first, I was kind of like, well, I'm enjoying it, but not really digging the profile. But man, after water, it's a completely different whiskey for me in a good way. That's funny.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Well, I guess I'll take a stab at trying to go over the numbers here. Mm.
Oh, you're ready to go? All right.
I'm just thinking. Let me take a quick look here. 46. And what was and you said it was around 70 US after
I mean,
everything.
this is like 60 US, 50, 60 US.
It's really nice as far as the what complexity you get out of it with the neat and with water. It's I'm surprised that you don't really see this a lot. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it in the wild. But it would definitely be worth a pickup at, like, if it was in the US for maybe 60, 65. I could see myself definitely getting another bottle of it just to have that taste, because you really can't get this just from any distillery or really any. I mean, you don't see Rioja casks, done very often. I think it's a success since I never had one and I did enjoy it. And I'm not the biggest wine drinker. I have had my share of white and red wines. I usually prefer reds, but I do like a lot of white wine too. But I'm not a connoisseur of wine. But with this, man, I was happy with the 4.6 46.3, and even though with the NAS, the chill filtering not being an issue. Man, this is a tough one. I like with the water a lot. Like if I was just doing it pre-judging with the water, I probably would have only done like a 3.25. With the water, I think it boosts it up pretty solid. It could, I'd love to see an older version of this,
Yeah.
and I'd also like to see definitely more emphasis on, if it's not colored or if it's not, got, issues with, we don't know what the age per se is.
Yeah, I mean,
If it's ultra
it's young.
young.
I mean, I think it's young. I mean, it's not a Ledaig 10. This
I'd,
isn't like Ledaig 10 with the finish, right?
yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go I think I'm going to say 3.5 on this one. I think it's better than average, and with the water especially, and that's what made me boost it up a little bit more. And I would, for 60, $70, I would actually get a bottle just to have it, just to say, hey, this is
Try this funky whiskey. Yeah.
well, no, I mean, just like if I had friends over and we were doing a tasting and I had, a Sauternes and I had a Manzanilla and I had Amontillado or whatever, and I'm like, I'm looking for a Rioja cask type of offering. There's not very many of them. This to me would be a good representation of what that would be, I would say. So,
Yeah.
what do you think, man?
Yeah. I really like what they're doing here. Like, I've had the 18 and the 10 from Ledaig, which is from Tobermory. I like both of them quite a bit. I think this whiskey has a lot of promise, and a lot of the things that you mentioned make me more excited about it than I was initially. I think what misses on this is the finish, which is like way too short and like kind of just lacking in all directions. Which again, I think is symptomatic of like just being a young whiskey and need some age. I'm a solid 3 out of 5 on this. And I would love, I'm very excited to see if they put out other things in this series. And like, I think, if anybody from Tobermory is watching, just finish your 10-year-old in a Rioja cask finish, and you would charge me $30 more and I'd buy it.
There you go.
It has all the hallmarks of like, it reminds me of like a Kilkerran, one of those like in progress whiskeys where it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be great in a couple of years. It's a little bit disjointed and a little bit like, for me, I guess, disjointed and kind of, I like it, but it's not, the price is great. I don't know.
No, you nailed it on the finish. That's one thing
the
I
finish
should have been
drops
on.
off so fast. And like, I just, when you've had Ledaig 10, probably as many times as you and I have, I just am like, I just want a little bit more. Like, I feel like there's an overcoat on it that kind of masks the youth, and that takes away from the complexity. But I think it's a great start. I'm a solid 3 out of 5 on this. I think, like, definitely, if you find it, which you can internationally at a really good price, pick it up. Otherwise, hopefully good things to come.
Yeah, you're right. I probably should have been a little bit more harsher on the finish. I think I was just so surprised by how much better with the water the finish was for me.
Because normally that's not the case. Normally it's like, the whiskey's not, standing up even on that. But like, this stands up. I mean, this is a testament to Tobermory, and like, they make quality stuff there on the Isle of Mull.
Yeah, with that finish, I don't know. I was thinking maybe 3.25 again, but it's a tough one because I do enjoy the nose in the with the water, how much the finish got better, even though it was, I agree with you, way too short. That's why I'm thinking, man, I'm really caught between that 3.25 and 3.5.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it goes to show that we both at least enjoyed it enough to think, well, it's definitely worth I think a look for your own, especially if you're already kind of an adventurous whiskey buyer and you're like the type that doesn't frown on taking a gamble on a new type of cask you might not have had it, or the wine.
And yeah, Telex, you're absolutely right. And to build off what you said, it's like, it's an example of like, there's a lot of good heavily peated whiskey that isn't Lafroig, that isn't Kilchoman, that isn't Lagavulin, that isn't Ardbeg, that isn't Bowmore, that isn't Port Charlie. Like, there's a lot of good peated whiskey out there, and while this one is like, it's showing its prowess in that sense. Like, there's a lot of good stuff, and definitely encourage people to, like, you see a heavily peated whiskey from another distillery that's not on Isla, you might think twice. Like, Ledaig, go for it. Go for it.
Hey, good to see you there, Stephen.
Hey, Warner, how you doing?
This reminds me of a good question for you guys. What is your most favorite non-Isla peated whiskey? I'm just curious to see.
Does Highland count?
Yeah, I'd say Highland Park would count because they're islands. They're islands. I know some people don't look at the islands as being some official designation, but there's so many that call themselves islands that I think it's a bit over technical if you're going to get to that extent. It's kind of like the same with the people that try to count the peat in the water and all that kind of crap. It's like, it's I don't know. If you could detect it, I guess, but that's how it goes. The Torfa, ooh, that's a good.
Glasa Torfa, nice call, Jack. Nice.
I've got that bottle back here actually, and yeah, that was a fun one. That was one of the earliest non-Isla peats that I was like, oh, this. I'm actually glad I got a bottle of it.
Yeah, I am gonna go get a water refill and take a quig, and then
all right, man.
We'll let you
all right, man. The off to Master Walmart. What? I'm afraid to ask. What's some of your favorite non-Isla peats? I'm just curious. That's what we're looking for. Your favorite non-Isla peated whiskey. Kilkerran 8 Oloroso. That's a good one. That's a good sip, I'm sure. Cast Strength Talisker. Dusty. Emphasis on the dust for Highland Park and Springbanks, I think he's saying. Yeah. The Cast Strength Talisker, man, I've got to get my hands on one. I still have yet to. I've tasted one. I'm sure you have sent one in the past, But I do not have my own bottle yet, so I'm gonna have to see if I can dig up a nice cast strength Talisker. That would be awesome. The Ben Rioja Curiositas is a good one as well. Was lucky enough to have that. The funny thing was I had I think it was a 10. It was a basic Ben Rioja 10, not peated. And then I had the Ben Rioja Curiositas version, which was the peated version, and I enjoyed both. I think I enjoyed the Curiositas maybe even a little more. Um, so I tend to probably gravitate Ben Rioch's peated offerings more than their basic ones, I'm thinking, because even with the 21, I was like, it's good, but it didn't blow my socks off good like the Arran 21 to me was. Um, I think that tells me I should probably invest in some peated Ben Riochs. Actually, that's something I don't have my own bottles of. I should probably do that. Don't have a ton of experience with non-island peated whiskeys, but really enjoyed the Kilkerran heavily peated in the Ledaig 19 PX cast strength. Yes, that 19 PX cast strength. I was lucky enough to have a taste of that. That was badass, awesome, man. That was one of the best Ledaigs. The Kilkerran heavily peated. I liked it, but not in my favorite sphere. But I like Kilkerran stuff when it's sherried. I'm not a big fan of the basic peated stuff for some reason. I'm not sure if it's their make, like the distillate itself, or what. But the 12 I enjoyed. I'll have to get more into it when we do the 16-year review show. That'll be a fun one. Probably sip that daily. The Talisker 57 North. No, I think that's a good choice, man, because that I actually was able to have a taste of, and I think that was close to cast strength if it wasn't cast strength, and that was a memorable, good dram if I remember right. Some peated Amaranth that I also really enjoyed. Yeah, I'm looking forward to opening up the Amaranth. I haven't opened it up yet. We'll have take a look at that one in really good detail in the future. I'll bet anything that the 12 is better than the Curiositas 10. The 12, I'm trying to remember if the Ben Rioja 10, I think I had a 10. I don't know if I had a 12. Ooh, I have to try to remember if that was a 12 or a 10. I don't know, man. That would be a great shootout for me at least, because I'm not sure if I would enjoy it as much as the Curiositas, but it'd be worth it. Definitely a sit down and try. First Kilkerran was a sample of heavily peated batch 2. You must have really liked that one with all those emojis. That's a shitload of emojis. We'll check it out. Oh yeah, Ledaig for the dirty Pete. Yes, they do have some Ledaig dirty socks. As long as you don't smell like it, I guess. That's the thing. Let me go back and catch up with some older ones here. 57.1. Tomorrow 12. Yeah, I think that the Tobermory stuff gets better on the non-peated side with the age. So if you're lucky enough to get your hands on a Tobermory 21 or an 18, 16 maybe at the youngest, then I think you might think differently about the non-peated versus the peat, but you never know. 79, yeah. That's that is a bit pricey for a 12-year-old, man. That's just a little crazy. Looks like Dream Dude's got some Kyrgyz port and wine. That's a that's a that's a decent one for me. I was kind of not as happy about that one as I was the triple wood cast strength, I think. But I wonder if I still have some of that left. I might have to I might have to sip that with you there, Dram, on the side tonight at some point. It's possible. Dirty socks. What a trip. What a trip. Let me see here. Oh, 140 last year. Is 216? That is crazy. That's quite a difference on the old price. One can good to see you there. One Quintanilla. The Oloroso 19 for 165, 21, 240. Too much? I don't know, man. That Manzanilla cask is something else. I'm not going to go too details because we are going to review that pretty soon. I did pick that up, but the Oloroso 19 for 165 is a hell of a great price. That is hard to argue with, I have to say. Yeah, that's true. Speaking of Freud, did you see where the... Yeah, I did see that, and I was like thinking, well, looks like somebody's been listening to some people on the side, because 48% is the sweet spot for ABV for me. If you're going to do a neat non-cast strength whiskey, just for your core range, 48 is like the sweet spot. 10-year age statement, can't go wrong with that. Sherry oak finish, fuck yeah. And Lafroig, I mean, I don't think they're crazy with the old E150 or whatever the hell it's called, but was it E150A, I think? But I don't know. I don't think it would be chill filtered either. I would hope not. They would at least. Let's take a quick look, just out of curiosity. Hopefully Eric didn't fall in there. Let me see what we got on the Lafroig. I would hope that this is in the system already. 10 sherry oak, yes. Maybe I'll get lucky. Finished an ex Oloroso sherry oak cask. Good, 48%. It might just be an early entry. Let's see if it get on the coloring, if any. I'm looking at a couple detailed pages here that should tell me, I think, maybe. It's so light. I don't think they would bother coloring this. I mean, it comes in a damn green bottle, for God's sakes, too, right? So surely you would think that that would be something they would bother putting coloring in. There's Eric. Let's get you back in here. You doing all right, man? Oh, okay. Just going over the...
Sorry, what did you say?
I was just going over the new 10-year sherry oak. Steven just saw it too when we were...
Oh, yeah.
48%, man. That's just insane. And the price point, I was just trying to figure out if it was coloring and chill filtering. I don't think they would bother on the coloring. You never know. The 48% ABV is kind of interesting. I'm looking at the bottle.
Filter at 48.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because I'm just surprised they don't put it on the bottle really easy to see. That's the only thing that's weird about Lafroig and their marketing. But that's all I was looking at on the side there. I guess we should probably take a look and see on the next one if you're...
The Bothy?
Yeah.
The Bothy.
Have you ever had one of their early... I was doing a little research on the side, and I know this is the nice new version that just was released. When I was doing some looking up, I saw that they had some different batches before. Do you know if this is like a release that's still like in a batch release, or if it's going to be like just a standard they don't redo every year like they used to, or do you know?
Well, that's a great question. I did look at... So somebody on my happy hour mentioned that they had batches of this from earlier. There is no batch number on this as far as I've seen. They have Braille on it, and I can't really tell if that is saying a batch because I don't know Braille. There is no mention of a batch number on this. Here's what the bottle looks like.
You're still buffering a little bit.
I'm sorry?
You're still buffering just a little bit. It's you're a little pixelated. It should come through here in a second. That's a little better. Not show
Okay.
it. It should be fine now. Yeah.
So cool thing about Arran, they do put Braille on here, which I think is really cool. There's no mention of a batch anywhere on this. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I was just following along.
They prominently say non-chill filtered natural color, like prominently on the new bottles.
Nice.
This
That's
is it is a non-age statement, but it is 56.2% ABV.
Woo! Wow.
So, they're not playing, and it is literally. Here's what it has to say. I'll give you the tail of the tape here on the back. Again, 56.2% non-age statement, non-chill filtered natural color. Blah, blah, blah. The purity of their water. We never add caramel or strip out flavor using chill filtration. That's great. And this is quarter cask. And the logic of quarter cask, these are small cask. Quarter size of, I think, of a hogshead. And the idea is that the whiskey matures faster because it has more surface coverage based on the amount of volume. So a quarter cask is going to give you much more cask influence in a shorter period of time. So this is maybe a 5 to 7 year old whiskey. They do have a little booklet inside. I have not looked at it, and I'm not going to, bogart the show here with everything they have to say in here. But they got a whole bunch of stuff in here. But anyway, yeah, that's the story on quarter cask whiskey. I mean, Lafroig also puts out a quarter cask, and again, the idea here is that because it has more surface interaction between the spirit and the cask, because the casks are smaller, you impart more flavor more quickly.
So, if I'm reading this right, the single malt is aged for 7 years in the ex-bourbon barrels, and then 125 liter quarter cask for 2 more years afterwards.
So it's like almost 9 years.
9 years. That's awesome. They got it's like a statement without a statement.
There you go. I mean, I don't know why they don't just put an 8 or 9 year old statement on here.
Honestly, you want to know what my take on that is? I think that the only reason you see
them in marketing.
Well, I think the only reason that you see Ardbeg bother with the 5-year statement on the Wee Beastie is because there's enough people that are bitching about the age-stated, NAS deal. But with that said, it's like, do you really bother with age statements as much when it's under 10 years old? I think that's where some of these marketing companies are probably thinking, well, we could, but do you really want to emphasize the fact that your whiskey's not at least 10 years old? I think that's where they don't even bother with it, to be honest with you, because why else would they put the coloring and the chill filtration in your face as much and not even have the 9-year statement on there if they could put it on there? Because they very well could.
And I have to just give props to Arran. Their new marketing, a lot of distilleries change their marketing very frequently, and people usually have opinions on. But I got to just say, Arran's new stuff looks great. They prominently say non-chill filtered natural color. They even have Braille on here for folks, which is fantastic. The bottles look better. I mean, their stuff was in dire need of an upgrade, in my opinion, and I'm a fan of what they've done.
Yeah, they got a really good graphic designer on. I was looking at the 21 box that we went through a while back together, and that box has the same nice packaging. The Braille's on there prominently for, Section 508 compliance is a big thing, nowadays for accessibility.
Sure.
I suffer from some things myself, and you can never be. You never know when someone is needing a little help just to do some basic whiskey tasting. That's just the way it goes.
And honestly, it's probably at minimal, if literally no cost. It's just more thoughtfulness than cost, and they're able to go a long way with it. It's very smart, and I hope more people do the same thing. I'm really impressed with their new presentation.
Yeah, I think it pops really well, even though it's not. It's funny because the type that they use in the box, with the gold lettering and the colors, even though it's not white pow in your face like some of these other ones, it's definitely enough, I think, to catch your eye on the side where you might think, "Huh, this is well put together." It definitely looks like it's not dated at all anymore, which is a huge difference when you're fighting with 200 other distilleries to sell a bottle.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh.
Well, let's dive in here. So this is another heavily peated whiskey. I think you let me know if you think this is not peated. I'm convinced this is peated. And yeah, this is from the Arran Distillery. It is on where is that located again? It is.
Is it Mole? I can't remember.
No, Mull is Tobermory. Oh, it's the
that's right.
Isle of Arran. Yeah, it's the Isle of Arran. It's the Lachanza Distillery Isle of Arran. Yeah.
Thank God the Scottish were smart enough to name their distilleries after the cities or vice versa, because you can always find them so easily if you pull up a map usually. Let me take a quick look on something just to see, because I'll use my taste buds to really guide my way, but I'm just curious to see if I can find some extra information on this. And this is a smaller batch release of peated Arran whiskey.
Exactly.
Bottled in, well, this one says, this is a different, hold on, this says 3 sherry hogshead, so that's a different bottle.
Yeah, that's the bodega.
Gotcha.
You're looking for the Bothy.
Yeah, that's what I thought I had, but I'm just looking to see one last thing here real fast before I say yes or no. Well, that's the old version, but let me see if it says anything about it in this one. This one I might just have to do by taste to see, because I don't see it marked as a specifically a peated thing, but we should be able, like you said, we should be able to at least detect it somewhat, I would think.
Yeah, I agree.
This is the... Let's see. Let me look at one last thing real fast. I thought I had it. That's an old version. Yeah. It's easier to find the old versions. It's more difficult to find a new one, unfortunately. But let's have a little sniff and see what we get anyway. I think it's going to have a really good mouth coat, because it's got a really nice hold even after sitting out for a while. I poured these out a bit earlier, let them air out. Even for NASs, you still needs oxygen sometimes, guys.
Agreed.
Ooh, nice. Oh, wow. You definitely get, for me, like, it's not unpleasant. It's just funny. The first note I got going in was a really nice, almost like a woodworker's shop, like a really nice, different, like not just one thing of wood, but like different types of wood smells.
Yep. Like what's that? The varnish that you put on wood?
Like a luthier's shop. It's like a guitar maker's shop to me.
Yeah. Definitely.
In a good way, not in a bad way. It's just it's definitely got the caramels there, but it's got like some nice effervescence to the nose too.
That's where I think the peat is coming in. Yep.
I'd be surprised if it's not, because I do get like, this is where it's tough, because these quarter casks are so intense.
Yeah.
And with it being 9 years, it's not like the ultra oldest, but I'm getting some really nice, like, I got this wood with the fruit and some like dates and figgy notes in the background too.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's
golden raisins.
Yeah, tropical fruit on the nose, like very prominently tropical fruit. Butterscotch, apple.
Do you get the golden raisins?
Yeah, there's like an earthy peat clay note to it. There's a bit of that kind of darker date raisin thing. Dried barley. And then again, like there's a hint of alcohol, but it's not. And then again, like very like dry barley, robust. I guess I mean, it seems peaty to me. It's not smoky, but it's peaty.
the more I go in, the more I get this really nice wave of honey too on the nose. I can actually smell the honey in this, which is not easy to do usually. Usually it's too something's in your face or too peppery or spicy, but this you can actually get the honey from.
Yeah,
like a
there's
honeycomb,
definitely.
like honeycomb cereal.
Yeah, it's more butterscotch for me, but I'm with you there. It's right there. Yeah.
I'm trying to determine if that's like a peach or an apricot. I think it's more of like a dried fruit, like an apricot type on the nose. Real subtle though, not strong. Not like that Nepal Castle 14. Oh my
No,
god,
yeah, nothing like that. Nothing like
that
that.
one smelled like apricots all day long, dude. That was like if I ate a whole apricot by myself in one sitting. It was that crazy. It's got a nice dankness, even though it's not old per se. It does have a little bit of a dank kind of almost like leather out in the rain kind of a smell,
Interesting.
but real subtle, like on the like an earthy back end kind of note. I think I'm only getting the 9-year part on that part of the nose though. It's not
Yeah.
an easy one to get. I think it's along with that polish that you were talking about earlier. It's got that
Yeah, like what I don't remember the name of that stuff, but it's a prominent Minoax or mini something. I don't remember the name of it.
No, you're dead on. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give it a taste, eh?
Yeah.
Launch
Let's
it.
launch it, guys. Hope you're enjoying. Hopefully you got an Arran to go along with this or a Ledaig. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that ABV is perfect, man. Wow.
Woo!
Oh, that fruit wave. Oh my goodness gracious, man.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Wow, that is damn. That is crazy good for just a basic quarter cask type of whiskey, man. That's just insane. Wow. That's a lot going on in one like quick mouthful too.
Dude, there's a lot. Yeah, it's really complex.
A lot of
Medium
the same
body and like
notes.
kind of a go ahead.
I was going to say a lot of the same notes I was getting from the nose. I'm also getting not the wood per se as much, but like the fruits and the caramelization and the butterscotch and the. I mean, you could go on for days with all these.
Yeah, it's like medium body, but it's got this silky texture, and then it's like banana, vanilla, tropical fruit. There's a little bit of like a chili pepper.
Nice spice, yeah.
On the back end, and the oak, and then the effervescent kind of peat, it seems like, is really there on the back end of the development. I mean, there's a lot happening in this whiskey.
I'm trying to determine about the peat. That's the toughest thing, man. It's like usually when something's peated, it also not only do you get the effervescence, but you also get like a real earthy tone to the effervescence, and I'm trying to determine if this has got that. It's got.
It feels like it's there.
The ex-bourbon notes are so strong that I wouldn't be surprised if there is like if it's like 3 to 5 ppm. That I wouldn't be surprised of. If it's more than that though, I would be surprised because it's very subtle. And I agree with Eric. It's not smoky per se, but it does have a slight earthiness to the. Wow, man, the caramelization on this is unreal.
Dude, it's huge.
These ex-bourbon notes are
it's like a medium long finish. It's mouth watering. You get the juicy fruit gum, bananas Foster, like that chocolate banana thing. There's a little bit of lime. There's some tropical fruit, chocolate chip, mint chocolate chip ice cream is like the major thing that I get.
Jeez,
the mint chocolate chip ice cream just carries the end of this finish all the way through.
I love the mouth coat you get from this. It's that this is what's great about a high ABV whiskey for me is that it makes the finish last so much longer usually too. It like stacks good things on top of good things, which brings more good things when you have a nice solid ABV.
Totally.
I love the waxiness in this. You don't like waxiness on a finish. Some people might be put off of, but I love it. And this reminds me. This has got. It's not like maybe quite Kleinleash level, but it's close to like a Kleinleash 14 on the mouthfeel. It's on the heavier side, which to me is a great thing. You don't get that very often. Mm. I'm afraid to put water on it.
It's like it's peaty. It's not smoky, but it's delicious and like a lot of complexity.
Medium. Perfect amount of medium brown sugar too.
Oh yeah, you're right on the brown sugar. Totally.
Oh wow, it's like
a little bit of coal ash too. A little bit of like ash on the end in that mint chocolate chip thing that I was saying. Like I don't know if you're picking that up at all.
Yeah, it's almost it's like a little bit of s'mores action going on in the end a little bit. And maybe it does have a slight peaty tinge to it. It's a tough call on that one.
If it doesn't, it's like you'd have me fooled.
It's right there. Nice spice, like a nutmeggy kind of. Do you get any nutmeg or any like spice on the finish too? A little bit.
A little bit. Like the thing that I like so much about this whiskey is if you hunt for it, you can find so much. I mean, there's so much complexity in
sandalwood. Sandalwood too.
Like a really young whiskey.
It's a funny thing. It's amazing what you can get out of a 9-year whiskey if you do it right.
Right.
I'm going to save a lot of this neat. I'm just going to pour a little bit out first, and then
I'm gonna drop a little water on it.
Do a couple drops, but man, is it damn good neat. And it's easy. It's almost scarily easy to drink at 56.2.
Dude, yes. I 100% agree with you, man. That's one of the things that I wrote down when I was tasting it. I was like, it's like simultaneously very intense but dangerously sippable.
I've got 3 words for you. Slow your roll.
Yeah.
This
could really like creep up on you.
This bottle could get me in so much trouble if I went to a whiskey tasting and this is one of the bottles I brought with me. Holy wow, man, I would be lit before the day was even half over.
Man, I would
guzzle this stuff.
That butterscotch, that Werther's original, it's just fantastic.
That's one of my favorite candies, and this definitely has that also in the finish, is that Werther's Originals, man. You nailed it. I pulled a little water. Let me see.
I get more lime rind, like really sharp sharp lime. Jesus, sharp lime.
Yeah, like a lime zesty. Yeah,
almost like a margarita, like salty lime. Man, I mean, you could almost. This is going to sound crazy, but it's almost like the nose of an Old Tom gin. Like a barrel aged gin that's got a lot. It just.
I can see that.
So much of that spice and that fruit note.
I can see that because it's not juniper, but it does have
it's not juniper.
It's got like a juniper-esque type of note going on, though.
Yep.
Because it's got a little bit of herbal stuff going on, but it's really on the light end, and it goes really well with the that lime zest kind of thing going on as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. You pour this for anybody blind, there's no way they're going to think it's younger than 12 years.
There's no way. Absolutely no fucking way. This would be a great whiskey to send to some of anybody that's doing high-end whiskey tastings on a regular basis, maybe like Eric Waite or someone that does maybe Whiskey in the Six. If you could blind those guys with something like this and say, tell me the age, I would be surprised if they went younger than 12 on this one.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Because I'm almost even thinking that, I mean, it's missing maybe some more caramelization.
It's a little hot. I mean, I think the finish is what shows it, right? Like the finish shows that it's it kind of, you know, goes off in like 10 directions, and you're like left with this shock in your mouth. Like, it doesn't have a complete finish. That's for
It's a
sure.
good shock, though.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
That palate is funny because the nose is good. The palate's like badass, and the finish is kind of like where the roller coaster comes to an abrupt end.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's funny because it doesn't taste hot per se, but the finish is so intense and drying that it does end in a flash.
Yep.
That's my only bitch about this whiskey so far. Huh. Let me try it one more time with a neat and see what we do. Man, you get this bottle could get somebody into some major trouble, man.
It's stupidly sippable, man. It's stupidly like easy to drink despite the intensity, the ABV. I mean, this is again, you know, Telex, you and I have talked about this a lot. Age statements to me are important, and like, you know, Ralphie is somebody. It's all about the age statement. I think age statements are great. But when it really comes down to at the end of the day, and this is why I think people like who shun NAS whiskeys for little to no reason, other than like some purity thing, like it is the most important thing to make a good whiskey is the cask, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think it's evident here in this Arran The Bothy. I think it's evident in Octomore. I think it's evident in there's a lot of whiskeys where it's young spirit, where you wouldn't realize. I mean, there's some American ones, Westward, for example. I mean, we go to Australia, we go with Starward. Like, young whiskeys can be absolutely incredible in the right cask. Cavalan, for fuck's sake. I mean, like these. Now, granted, there's climate differences and all that, but like, yo, the casks are king, in my opinion, and I've increasingly come to this, you know, kind of this opinion after having Octomore, after, you know, especially after this Arran. It's like, come on, man. Like, there are plenty of age statement whiskeys that couldn't even step up to the plate against a whiskey like this in terms of its complexity, in terms of its quality, what it's giving you. Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I wish they would look, in an ideal world, let's put age statements on everything. Call this the Arran Bothy 8 or the 9, whatever. I do think it's good for the consumer. I agree with that. But the idea that like age statement signifies quality or like a benchmark beyond just sharing information about the whiskey, I think it's a misnomer, man.
I agree.
I think this is a classic example of that.
Hit it out of the park. If you want to prove that it doesn't take 10 to 12 years to make a good whiskey, this is the perfect example of, no, it doesn't take that long to make a really damn good whiskey.
No.
What was the price point on this one again?
I mean, this is about like, so USD, and this is starting to show up in the US, is around $75.
Okay, because I was taking a look, and I like this enough to when you see me like doing searches and looking for this shit, you know it's really good. So I was actually looking online to see what the price point was, and yeah, like the cheapest I could find was in Scotland for $62. The Whiskey Exchange says 67 in London. But that's, you know, overseas.
Right.
In the States, in California, I'm seeing 70, but that's in the lowest possible end.
Yeah. I mean,
so yeah, 75.
You know, now that it's starting to be available in the US, you know, $70 to $80.
This is it's unfortunately Petite doesn't have this one yet, but I'm going to tell Tom to, if he does see it, hold a couple bottles for me, because this is something. If it's, I mean, 70 is in the higher end, but for the ABV you're getting, and if it's consistent on being this good on multiple bottles, I could see this being an easy daily sipper. But man, you got to be careful. I could see myself getting in some major trouble of drinking this on a regular basis.
It's delicious, man. It reminds me a little bit of Kalila in the way that, like, it's that sweet citrus fruit that kind of carries it through. And then, you know, this just has more backbone.
On the steroids, man. It's like Kalila on steroids without the peat.
Like a cast strength Kalila. Yeah. It's great, man. I mean, are you ready to go final thoughts on this one?
Yeah. Wow, man. that is unreal. The flavor profile, pack power that comes with this bottle. It's insane. Great presentation. Great. No coloring, no chill filtering, no bullshit. 9 years. They don't even. They're like, screw you guys. We're not even putting the age statement on there, even though we can do it if we want to. That was enough for me to be like, okay, I got to take notice of this whiskey. After having the 21 and the out of the new lineup, I was excited about what Arran was doing, and this proves that their new core lineup is the one to fucking get if you haven't already. I would jump all over any new bottling of Arran you can get your hands on at this point. If anyone's ever had a bad one of the new lineup, please let me know, because I don't know. Stephen was disappointed with the new 25. He said, that is surprising, because that 21, man, I thought was pretty badass.
Yeah, 21 was good.
I mean, if you look at the Ben Rioja 21 in comparison, it's night and day difference to me. And those are two really close comparative profile whiskeys that are, I think, I'm not sure if they're
the Ben Romick or the Ben Rioja?
The Ben Rioja.
The Ben Rioja. I got you. Okay.
That one I thought was similar as far as style, but the quality to me was the Arran was just top dog beyond belief. But I haven't had the new 25. I'd like to hopefully get a chance to get a sample of that one though at some point. That would be pretty damn cool, I have to say. I'll have to maybe do a trade or something. If I can get something comparable, Stephen, on that one, because if you didn't like it, I'm kind of hesitant about buying my own bottle of that. But anyway, back to the score. This one, man, is really good. I liked it with and without the water, both ways. It doesn't need water. It's great, neat, scarily good, neat. And the only thing that blows it for me is that fucking short finish. I mean, it's not short, but I mean,
it's medium. It's medium. I find it a medium, but I hear what you're saying.
I'm going back. Yeah, I mean, it's still there. I guess I would go to medium length. It was a while since I had a sip, so I had to go back for another one. Man, this is so scarily good. I mean, I don't have any left. It's crazy.
I love it, Telex. I love it.
Way above average. The craft is perfect. The only thing we didn't know about was the we actually knew about all the stats on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give this one at least a 4. I'm thinking 4. I'm trying to think of, do you think that a little bit of age could make it even better? The finish being a little bit longer might be good, or maybe not as drying, I should say. It's medium finish, but it isn't I don't know, man. It's still going though.
Yeah. Yo, I mean, I originally pegged this as a 3.5. I think this, the more I dig into it, man, this is a 3.75 for me, really close to the 4, and a 3.75 is a really great score, by the way. It's a fucking great score,
especially for not even a 10-year-old. That's crazy to think about.
This punches above its weight. It's a solid price for an NAS. I just think the complexity that you get out of this is unmatched. I'm trying to think of, now it's apples to oranges to a degree. Compare this to Lafroy quarter cask. This isn't even a question. This is Springbank.
This blows it away.
This is Springbank level complexity compared to your 2-note pony, NAS Lafroy Select, Ardbeg, Wee Beastie, whatever. It's just light years better. I'm close to a 4. I think that the only thing that's it's a bit sharp and a bit astringent on the finish, and you'd like to see a little bit more roundedness, but what they're doing with an NAS whiskey here is so good. God damn. I'm caught between a 4 and a 3.75, and I'm going to sit at 375, but I'll tell you, I mean, this is a 375 with upwards potential.
Flowers with
For sure.
flowers.
Yeah. Put bells on it, man. Put bells on it. It's just that good. And this, and at the price, I mean, come on, man. It's fantastic.
It's pretty perfect. Like I wouldn't charge much more for it, but I wouldn't charge much less for it really, because it does sit well at 65, $70. It's what makes it tougher though is you can get an older whiskey for less, but yet you're not getting the ABV you're getting out of this whiskey. This whiskey's ABV is off the charts, and it doesn't taste hot. That's what's great about it.
I mean, 56 point. I mean, an Ugadal is less ABV than this and tastes hotter than this. And Ugadal is one of those that
it's a smooth whiskey,
well-rounded, like for an NAS.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great comparison. I think if you're comparing quality of whiskey, this is up there with those big boys that we all cherish, like the Ugadal. Mm-hmm. It might not have the level of peat or sherry and things like that, but yet it's got the quarter cask. The notes are definitely there. The wood was the first note I got off the whiskey, which is what you would expect from a quarter cask, I think. Or unless you went to like a triple wood or even more. But
dude, this whiskey tastes like they took their time with it, man. It's like it tastes like they took their time with this. Like they knew what they were doing. This is a whiskey that people paid attention to. This wasn't just like oh, yep, that's about what I expect. Put it through the line. Like this is a crafted whiskey.
Yeah, I'm surprised of how well it's done. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, of all the whiskey distilleries to come out after a lot of us have preached about, the no coloring, no chill filtering, and doing a decent ABV and doing all the good stuff, and the first people to really seem like to get it right, I am surprised it's Arran, and that they've nailed it really with the whole presentation of this.
This whiskey kills it, man. I'll tell you, like, it's showing up in the U.S. market. Buy this on site if you see it. I'll be honest with you, man. It's hard for me to sit at 375. I'm so close to a buy it now. 4 out of 5 on this. I think the only thing that might throw it off is like how intense it is because of the oakiness. But like, dude, this is killer.
I mean, I'm looking the damn bottle, dude. I'm licking the damn bottle. That's how good the shit is. I was pissed when I didn't have any more to drink. That's how good I thought this was. So I was holding myself back a little at 4. I almost went to 4.25. That's how surprisingly damn good this is. But like you said, I mean, I think it's right at the level. I'm just speechless almost at how well it came across with the real sparky orchard fruit with the wood notes and shit. Oh my Lord. Yeah. I'm like missing it already, and I just like the damn bottle.
Dude, for real. Yeah. I mean,
I'm definitely, as soon as I see this in the States, I'm definitely getting my own bottle of it. I guarantee you.
Yeah, you should. And
I'm pulling one of your Glencaddam 21s as soon as this is over.
Just grab it, dude. Just like, yeah, fuck this. I'm getting this.
I might have to get it from Britain. That's.
Hey, man. I mean, hey, like, it ain't exactly like I've been sleeping on this bottle.
Wow.
Like, where we're at, Yo,
I can see why I'm gonna definitely have to get it, because I'm afraid this shit's gonna fly off the shelves when it gets to the US and I won't be able to find any.
It's that good. Yeah, 375 from me, 4 from Telex. Keep your eyes open, folks. Arran single malt Scotch whiskey, non-chill, natural colored, quarter cask the Bothy 56.2%. This is probably around 75, 80 at max. Buy it. One of the best NAS whiskeys. I am about to do a video Telex on 5 NAS whiskeys that people need to have in their life. And I will give you a little secret right now.
Oh.
This may make it.
I was going to say, of all NASs that I've had over the years, this has definitely got to be... I'm not sure if I'd say it might be top 3. Definitely in the top 5, but I don't know. I might have to sit and think. That's a good question. When are you going to release that show? Do you know when it's going to pop?
Probably a couple weeks from now. So it's going to be. I'm going to do it as a special. So normally and by the way, folks, if you haven't yet and you're enjoying the show, hit the thumbs up. It does a lot to promote Telex and Malt show here on Tuesdays. We are here every Tuesday. Also,
religiously.
If you haven't subscribed to Telex, the Whiskey Tech, you really should, because you're missing out if you're not. And feel free to throw a sub to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, for real. We appreciate you guys. I'm going to drop this in a couple weeks, man. It's going to be a special thing. I do my reviews they drop every Friday, but I tend to drop them, every Friday. But this is going to be a special release. I'm going to sneak it in the middle of the week. If you are a Patreon supporter, rest assured you will get access to it early. And I'll be eager to share it with you and hear why I'm totally wrong. So that's what I'm looking forward to, because there are a lot of good NAS whiskeys. There's no doubt.
That would be a good one to have in your list. If you don't have it already, I have to say it's definitely got a big mixture of old and new stuff in it. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I will qualify it. The NAS whiskey list I'm going to do is best NAS whiskeys under $100.
Oh, there you go. Because I was going to say, Steven's picking some.
I just saw that. I know. Steven,
crazy NAS whiskeys.
Steven's 100% right. Unfortunately, I'm going to keep it to the best NAS whiskeys you can get under $100, the ones you need in your life. I have 5 of them mapped out, and then I have 2 honorable mentions. And I'll drop that in a couple weeks. If you're subscribed to the channel, you'll definitely see it. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you'll see it early. I'm looking forward to hearing all the criticism and maybe a little praise that I'll get to this list. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Because I'm a believer, man. And it's been an evolution, Telex. And I think this is an interesting topic to get into, coming off of what is really excellent NAS whiskey. The demand for whiskey, especially bourbon, over the last 10 years has been going astronomical, and it has translated into Scotch. We've seen a lot of distilleries take some of their prized age statement whiskeys and go to NAS. However, my evolution in my whiskey journey personally has, again, it has been 5 years. I can't say that I can compare it to age statement whiskeys from yesteryear. But to me, what I've learned, Telex, is that, as I was saying earlier, casks are king. You can do amazing things with young spirit in a good cask, and it is worth the money. I think Octomore is one of the best examples of that, if not the best example of that.
I've got another good one for you.
Quarter cask is there too. And I would be curious, in an ideal world, I would buy a whiskey that has an age statement that is non-chill filtered natural color. But look, there are a lot of bad NAS whiskeys out there. There are why buy a Talisker Storm when you can get a Talisker 10 for the Talisker fans? There's no reason. But there are some really, really good ones out there that shouldn't get slighted just because they don't have an age statement on it, because I think it's either the cask quality that really just pushes it through. And, we were talking about Ugadal, Kornvrecken from Ardbeg are classic examples of this.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff, which is mostly non-age statement. In fact, most, if not all, you look at Loch Gorm.
Here's the thing.
There's a lot, man. And so I'd be curious, where you land on that. I mean, do you eschew the NAS whiskeys on principle, or do you feel like maybe in a weird, yes, they exist because of the market, but in a weird way, they may actually have some of their own virtues?
Well, I do think that you're right about the demand has made it really tough when folks like Highland Park and some of these distilleries that are more of the well-known ones to go through a lot of their make. I mean, I don't think that they just redo bottling lines just for the hell of it. I think there's lots of reasons why they'll invest in their marketing department to redo their entire lineup sometimes, and I think that the demand is part of that. But I think like things like the Valkyrie, the Valknut really do prove that it is about the cask more so than the age. And I completely agree, because you and I are fans, and I think the perfect example that proves our point is how well that we like the Ardbeg Black. Those, Pinot Noir,
yeah,
New Zealand Pinot Noir casks were nothing to sneeze about. Like, as far as they were not bad, I thought they were like top notch, excellent. And I know that some folks thought that they were super young, and that's okay. But to me, that the casks were so damn good that it outshined the fact that they were using younger whiskey in that. And to me, it actually made it taste. Yeah, it might not taste old, but it definitely had a complex, well balanced profile in the end, and that's why I think I gave it a higher score than some other people that maybe got more. Maybe they just the younger whiskey was just too much as far as like the notes or whatever. But I think the cask is where the whiskey really shines the most, and the
100%.
age is like the back seat to that. And then when you get to the coloring and chill filtering, that's even more of a back seat than the age.
Yeah. No,
but to me, the ABV, the two most important things of any whiskey, the top thing is the ABV as equal to the cask type. That's like the tied for first. Then you get to the chill filtering, the coloring, and the age first. Then the chill filtering and the coloring is like the least thing that I worry about with whiskeys per se on taste. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I mostly agree with you. I think it's like, for me, cask, then age, then chill filtering or not, and then color is the thing I care about the least.
That's exactly what my lineup was.
They should all be natural color. Like, the fact that they're not, because of these outdated, stupid ideas that the industry has about like consistency and all this. Nobody notices, nobody cares. They seem to think they do. It's inertia, whatever. But look, if the choice is between filtering or color, hello, Glenn Goyne, just non-chill filter it and put all the color you want. I don't give a fuck. Saying it's a natural colored whiskey doesn't mean that much to me, because I just don't like. Again, it doesn't affect the flavor. You know what affects the flavor, and it's provable. I can prove it to you. The non-chill filtration, when you're I don't know if you saw this. When Highland Park put out their cast strength release, they put out YouTube videos about releases, and I can't remember the guy's name, Gordon Motion, whatever the fuck his name is. The master distiller at Highland Park is talking about the cast strength, and he says explicitly, and I'm saying this verbatim, we don't chill filter it so you get the full flavor of the whiskey. He says that in his video when 90% of their whiskeys are chill filtered. He says it in his video, like as if nobody would understand or notice. Who does he think is watching this? Like, I'm telling you, it's the truth, man. Put color in it all you want. If that's what they got to do, fine. It doesn't affect the flavor nearly as much as chill filtration. That guy proved it, what we all know already. And, I mean, if you look at any rum, which is high ester, the fact that chill filtration stripping that out is going to ruin the flavor. There's no question about it. So I don't, non-chill filtered is much more important to me than color. And again, but cask is much more important than age. Ardbeg Uigeadail.
Oh, yeah.
Arran The Bothy, Tamdhu batch strength, Aberlour Abunad, what do you call it? Naked Grouse.
Yeah. Now we're in complete agreement on the levels of, the
nice
cask is most important. Cask and then age, and then the
ABV and then age. Yeah, ABV I think is in there too. I think the least important is color. I think
that's
ABV,
what I agree with.
It is what it is. I just I think that the Puritan aspect of look, the market is what it is. I mean, every single Compass box that comes out is NAS. Are you trying to is the argument that somehow they're not worthy of even being talked about or
Oh man,
just because they don't have an age statement?
the phenomenology is a bottle I would give to somebody and challenge them and be like, tell me that this
You
is
know,
not
man.
good without
It is
being,
what
you
it
know, an
is.
age
It is what
statement.
it is. I just I don't care. It just seems stupid to me. That said, give it to me non-chill. Give it to me 46%. I don't care about anything else.
I hear you there. I wonder if is there a fifth thing that you ever look at with a whiskey as far as we all
Yeah.
talk about the ABCD thing? Is there what's like the fifth type of thing that you look at in a whiskey if you ever think about it?
Honestly, it's brand trust. So
Good point. Yep.
if Springbank tomorrow put out an NAS whiskey, I would buy it. If Aberlour put out an NAS whiskey, I would.
Yeah.
And there's a simple
perfect
reason for
point.
it. Because half of Aberlour's age statement stuff is shit. Springbank, yeah. If for some strange reasons, Springbank put out an NAS whiskey. I mean, even Ardbeg. If Ardbeg put out another NAS whiskey, I mean, think about the NAS whiskeys they have now. Corey Vrecken,
True,
and Ugadal. Can you name 5 better NAS whiskeys that are in a reasonable price range than those? Probably not.
It's a tough one, man. It really is, and you nailed it with the brand trust is definitely a big part of it.
Yeah, it's a huge part. If Craig Alecky, or I'm sorry, Glenn Alecky put out an NAS whiskey, I'd be more apt to buy it than Macallan. Because that the people making it are going to put it out with a respectability.
I've got a couple.
Auchentoshan. Auchentoshan's another thing. You're going to buy an NAS Auchentoshan, or are you going to buy a NAS Bladnock?
Ooh, I'm going to go for the Bladnock first. I think
exactly.
only because I'm familiar.
Because you inherently know. Yeah. And I think as you go in your journey and as you taste more distilleries, you start to pick out the ones that put out, really good stuff. And the ones that
like the 3-wood though. I did like the 3-wood a little bit though. I'll admit. Yeah. for a cheap sipper whiskey, if you're not in the mood for a monkey shoulder, you want something that's cheap and sweet. I'm not saying it's
a monkey shoulder.
I'm not saying it's the best thing ever, but it was a tolerable dram.
I just could have gone over 12.
I've got a question for you guys. Maybe somebody can help
me out. I agree,
Colin.
Victoriana, by the way, sneak peek in my video of my top 5 NASs you need in your life. The one that Cohen just mentioned in the chat will be in that list because
that's a hell of a whiskey.
Fantastic NAS whiskey. Why? Because it's from a good distillery that knows how to make good whiskey.
I'll agree with you there.
American Oak will not be on the list.
What about the 3-wood though? 3-wood's pretty good. Oh, all right. I tried.
Maybe it will. I don't know.
I have a question for you guys. What is it when we're talking about branding? This kind of brings up a good question. What is it about a brand like Ardmore or Tomnavulin? Why are they just so the least known and the least available whiskeys out there to buy? I mean, the weird thing is, Tomnavulin is Alliance Global Group, which is White and McKay. They also do Jura, which is one of the more,
and Dalmore.
They do Dalmore, and they do Edgerdour, which is kind of, I'm sorry, not Edgerdour. They do Feddercairn.
Yeah. Edgerdour is signatory.
So here's my question to you guys. Why is it that Alliance Global Group has a brand like Dalmore and puts all their fucking money, all their marketing effort, they just fucking go crazy with it in not the most sanest, greatest ways, but they also have 3 other brands, one of them being another unknown Feddercairn, and they've got the another unknown, the Tomnavulin, but they have Jura, which is one of the more popular ones in Europe. What is it about?
What's wrong with Europe?
I just don't get why,
Yeah.
some brands like Ardmore is a bottle that I would love to go get a 20-year-old, Ardmore whiskey just to try it. And this is a Beam Suntory brand item. Beam Suntory is huge. But what is it about Ardmore that they don't want to push? Why are they not, getting it out there like some of these other brands? Is it just the investment's just not there because it's just not known yet? I mean, but why is someone willing to pull all this money into Dalmore versus these other two brands that could be just as well known or even better? You would think. Do you know why?
Dalmore has the thing on it, has the big
The
stag on it,
stag,
and
yeah.
and that Joker, did all those advertisements for all those. I don't know, man. I mean,
Isn't it weird though that you have some of these brands are so like if I want to get a Macallan, I could go right now and I could think of 20 places to get a Macallan. I can get it at the bar, I can get it at the restaurant, I can get it everywhere. And the same thing for like most other brands like Lagavulin and Highland Park and Diageo. I know are the big ones, but some of these guys have big brands like Jura and what was the other one I mentioned? Jura and Dalmore are huge brands. Why not have any investment in your other two whiskey? Oh,
speaking of Lagavulin,
Dram says, I think Dram's on to it. It's the blends, bro.
yeah, he's probably right. Speaking of Lagavulin, I was going to wait until next week when it's in hand, but I'll share a little bit. I'll share with you now. I got my hands on a Lagavulin, a special Lagavulin. Go ahead. You can go ahead and guess what it is.
Does it start with a J?
A J?
Yeah.
No.
Does it have
a W?
Jazz Festival is the one I was thinking.
No, it's not a jazz festival. It's much more interesting than that.
Oh, what's it start with? You said
a W.
A W. A Lagavulin? Oh shit! White Horse.
Yeah.
Oh no fucking way, dude! You got a White Horse fucking
label. I got
label.
a White Horse 16 from the early 1990s. It should be here by next week.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'll definitely share pics. It was an investment, but I had to do it. It was the only one that had it. Yeah, we'll have to figure out a time to. I don't know when it's going to take to crack that, but we're going to crack it at some point. Maybe it's a White Horse Lagavulin from like 1991.
Maybe if I'm not, are you still definitely moving, or are you still iffy on the moving?
It's still on the
horizon.
On the horizon, yeah.
Maybe if we get
the Windy City, Los Angeles is also there.
If we get to do like an in-person show before you have to take off, that would be a good reason to open up the White Horse, I'd say. But I have to wait for a vaccine still. I'm on the list to like I'm signed up for registration.
They just canceled I was supposed to get vaccinated this Friday, my first shot here in Philly, and they just canceled it because they're only doing second shots there now. I'm like, what the hell? So I gotta
man. I'm sorry, man. I just literally like signed up for just registration. Our county in Maryland is so fucking far behind compared to other places. Like all my friends have fucking had it, and I'm like, I'm still fucking waiting on just the first one, more or less the second one. So I'm like, I'm like ticking away, like trying to get out of this because I'm been stuck in here since March the 9th last year.
Right?
I'll never forget March 9th was the day I was like, fuck this. I'm not going fucking anywhere.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man.
Literally.
That puts us, this puts us, we're over a year of doing our show. And we started this show kind of during COVID. And so, yeah, by the way, folks, if you haven't yet, give the thumbs up. Sub to Telex, sub to Malt Muser. And should I give them a little preview of what's coming up in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, let's take a little look.
So next week we got something really fun. We're going into Edredauer. We have an Edredauer 10-year-old and an Edredauer 21 provided by
You are in for a treat, dude.
Dude. I mean, we're talking some heavily sherried bombs, if there's any.
Hold on.
Dark 21.
Let me
And
get a
then,
preview real fast of that nice dark bottle. The only reason this is not gone, dude, seriously, is because I am savoring every fucking nano drop of this shit. That's the only reason this is not gone yet.
I cannot wait to open that sample. It has been sitting over in that box, and I keep peering over at that box. I know it's in there, and I'm like, God damn it! I'm holding out. So next week, if you're interested in learning about Edredar, we got a 10-year-old and a 21-year-old that we're going to get into. After that,
hold on, Steven Connor, you better get yourself a bottle of that, dude. It's that. I mean, I don't usually recommend bottles for Steven to buy because he's very, very picky. I mean, in a good way, but that's a bottle that I would tell him that he's got to pick up tomorrow. That's how good I thought that one was. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
Oh, all good. All good. We have, and after that, we're going to get into some really good rye. We have a Dad's Hat, which is a Pennsylvania rye distilled right outside my current city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I didn't know it's local.
That distillery, it's a barrel proof. And then we are doing the E.H. Taylor rye. And then Tobermory, we're going back to Tobermory after Ledaig. We're doing the Tobermory 12, the Tobermory 21.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one too. I have a feeling.
Yeah, for sure. And to close out April, we are going to do the Balvenie 21 years old Portwood and the Balvenie 14 years old Week of Peak. So we got a bunch of good single malts. We got some rye. We got some heavily sherried malts. Man, this is going to be good. We got a bunch of good stuff.
Ultra good.
If you haven't subbed yet, do give Telex a subscription. It'll make sure you don't miss the Telex and Malt show. And if you want to hang out for happy hour, give me a sub as well.
Yeah, this stuff isn't cheap.
No, it is not. And but we appreciate it, man. You guys make the show amazing, and it's much more fun chatting with y'all than if it was just Telex and I sitting around talking about whiskey ourselves. So we appreciate y'all and enduring this entire crazy year that we've been through.
Oh yeah, the lights at the end of the tunnel. Thank God, man. I've been itching to go back to some sort of normalcy, but man, it's gonna feel weird, I think, once we get back into the scheme, because it's gonna be one of those weird things. Do you think it's gonna like ease into normalcy, or is it gonna be like bam, everybody's like,
yeah, that's a good question. Normal, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like it's like for me, I almost forget what it's like to just like do normal stuff, so I think
relaxing is going to be the toughest part, is just being able to try to relax, because you've been programmed to be on edge and so acute on senses for so long that you're going to be, I think we'll be washing our hands and wearing masks for a long time. I have a feeling.
I mean, they've been doing this in Japan since the 90s, like
for a good reason, obviously.
Yeah.
So all it takes is this shit to go from a bat to a human, man, and it's just on. And I mean, think of all the animals. I'm just surprised, honestly, that it takes 100 years for this to happen. But not to get off on too many tangents before we head into the sunset. But I've been studying like viruses for a while. I think the only benefit to humans is the evolution. To evolve, you have to have these types of devices that get your DNA always moving and evolving over time. That's the only like real reason I could think of these things existing. But isn't it just such a shame it has to be so violent in its nature, to do what it's trying to do? It's crazy.
Yeah, there was a great writer for The Nation magazine. He's since passed away. His name was Alexander Cockburn, and he used to write a lot about climate change and viruses, and he always said nature bats last. And ain't that the fucking truth? Maybe not this time, but next time maybe they will. But it looks like at least this one we're gonna pull through. And with that unpleasant note, I am Eric, your humble malt Muser.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring it down. We gotta end on a happier note than that.
Good. This is Telex the Whiskey Tech. We give you 3 hours of whiskey chat every week. We hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, hammer that thumbs up, show us some love, subscribe to Malt Muser, subscribe to Telex the Whiskey Tech, and we will be back next week with Edredauer, 10-year-old and 21. I mean, Christ, can you get any better than that?
And I'm not opposed to doing a little meetup at some point once we get our vaccinations. And, we might still have to be a little socially distanced for people. You know how it goes with everyone, is got to be careful. So I love you too, man. I appreciate it.
We're in the final sprint here. Everybody stay safe, be well. Let's get through this together and make sure we can have good drams and fun Tuesdays from here on out.
And more Edredauer.
And more Edredauer.
and more Bothy, man. I'm so gonna get a bottle of that stuff, man. As soon as that shit's overseas, I am gonna be in a couple of those. I have a feeling.
For sure. All right, my friend. I will catch you next week. Everybody stay safe, be well.
Slanchaval, everybody.
See ya.